Wow. I'm the oldest year Gen Z, right? I was right after millennials, and this is how society built Gen Z.
Things have changed. That narrative we've all been told to follow, go to school, get a job, buy a house, start a family, and then maybe be happy.
Man,
Well,
how
that
many
narrative
times have I
has
heard
been
that?
broken.
The system is always trending towards disorder, and there's just no escape.
Gen Z
Why does she look familiar?
has been subject to a lot of trauma.
They seem to have lost their social skills.
From the rise of the digital world to countless government failures and a complete shutdown of society.
Was that the chick from You, the batshit crazy psychopath lady actor? I don't know if she plays a psychopath like serial killer lady. I think that was her. Hold on. This is bothering me. I think that was her, bro. It sounded just like her.
Disorder, and there's just no escape.
Gen Z
I could be completely wrong, and if I am so sorry. I'm not like, you just kind of remind me of that lady. She's a great looking lady too. Like, it's not an insult or anything. It just kind of remind me of but whatever. Let's
Lonely
carry on.
and hopeless with no future to strive for.
More and more people suffer from isolation and loneliness.
Depression has almost become normalized.
You know, I'm not gonna say it.
This isn't a story of politics, agendas, or reformation.
Apparently, Gen Z is like aging really rapidly.
Rather, one of Gen Z being a failed generation.
Are people just okay with the way that the economy is right now?
Oh God!
Some people have no hope of ever getting a home.
I think the reason Gen Z is probably so depressed is because we've lived in social media our whole fucking adulthood. So yeah, good luck to whoever's next. Fuck.
For you to even start to understand Gen Z, you have to understand their biggest influence, and that's none other than the rise of technology and the internet.
Yep.
One site that's gaining enormous popularity is YouTube.
Some people...
It's not YouTube that's the fault, bro. It's not YouTube. It's not YouTube. I love YouTube. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's productive. I think it's nice. It's beneficial to everybody, right? There's other sites we could talk about, though.
People might just like having a bunch of things going on at the same time to fill their attention spans.
Children all over the country are glued to different screens.
Okay, but guess what? Your parents, what do they do all day? What do they do all day? Watch fucking TV. They do the same shit, except for ours is more accessible. That's all it is.
Fortnite.
Skibbity Fortnite. Skibbity Fortnite.
You have this entire group of people being raised when the whole world is changing around them.
Okay.
Gen Z, or Generation Z, is comprised of those
Z? I had no idea. Generation Z. That's actually pretty fucking lame.
born between the years 1997 and 2000.
Yep.
2012. Though often referred to as a time of crisis, from the millennium to the global financial crash to the supposed end of the world.
Didn't happen though, baby. We still here. At least I think so. You know, there's some people that think simulations. Yeah, let's not.
They base this on interpretations of the Mayan calendar.
These years instead brought some of the most impactful revelations, from the smartphone
It also brought a really good movie. 2012 went hard, bro.
to widespread home internet and social medias like Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.
What about MySpace? MySpace was in there.
Now you ask, why is this relevant? Gen Z was born into
I didn't even mention Twitter. Ain't that something?
the tech boom. People now had infinite access to global communication and information, all from their pocket. At first glance, innovation seems harmless, but need I restate, an entire generation didn't get to see these changes as innovations. But
I wasn't raised like this, man. I remember when the 3GS, no, it was the iPhone actually was launching worldwide. I remember I was like, what in the world? They have iPods that are phones? Like, what? Like, I thought it was insane.
rather as the norm. Gen Z has grew up doing everything on screens, from messaging friends to watching videos.
Not true. 1997, bro. Come on, bro. You're forgetting the OGs.
Playing games, dating, recording their lives, and even going as far as building their very identity and beliefs.
The Matrix is real. They will try to silence me.
This is so weird and eerie because, like, I never considered these people my generation, but they are. What the fuck?
You see, what at first was a novelty soon became a dependency.
Yeah, we're fucking cyborgs now.
People weren't just playing on their Nintendo DS for 15 minutes a day.
Man,
they were now hooked on their devices. The bleak reality is we are in what I would refer to as the digital dark age. Gen Z is violently addicted to their phones, video games, and adult content. They resort to short-term pleasures to distract them from their depressing realities. People have become so hooked they are often on their phones for 10 plus hours a day.
Easy.
The better thanks to short-form content, dopamine hooks, and addictive algorithms.
Bro, short-form content is dangerous, man. It really is. It doesn't happen often to me. I'm pretty good at like not like watching reels and stuff like that. But man, when you get in those moods, you can just swipe for a whole hour and then be like, wait, what the fuck am I doing? It is the weirdest sensation. It's like that post-nut like clarity. It is odd, and I don't think I've ever had that with anything else. It just swiping constantly and then like somehow snapping out of that phase and then realizing, fuck, I just wasted a lot of time of my life. That feeling sucks.
The ability to build social profiles has fueled collective narcissism and need for self-status among young people, as everyone actively tries to make their lives seem better online. Social media has completely destroyed the attention span of Gen Z.
Cap, that is bullshit. I don't think that's true. I really don't. I think it's I think the attention span of... Let's be frank, old motherfuckers don't have a great attention span. They don't. I work with boomers all the fucking time. Their attention span is trash too. It's just different, right? It's so different.
With people unable to focus on a video for more than a second.
I can feel my brain tingling to get a glimpse of my phone.
This has been worsened by Gen Z unable to complete everyday tasks like walking or eating without music or Family Guy funny moments playing.
I'm trying to think of like older people. I guess they don't really do that a lot. I do. I always watch something when I eat too. So that, I guess that is true. But it's like min-maxing, right? You're just maxing your productivity, even if your productivity revolves around not something that's really efficient or needed, but it is efficient, but it's not really needed. It's you know, a luxury. Why not eat and watch something you enjoy at the same time? That way later on you can go back to work and focus strictly on that thing, or just, you know, just enjoy yourself a little bit. I don't know. That's like me when I run. I always like to listen to a book, listen to a podcast, listen to some kind of information. I think the biggest drawback on that is going to be peace with yourself. But I always have like an hour dedicated in the day at the end of the day to relax and just think. Which I feel like it's even more efficient that way too, because like that time I'm so in deep in thought. I don't know. That's just how I do it.
This is no exaggeration, and in fact it's a heavy underplay. This whole phenomena is described as brain rot, as it's so overstimulating it might as well be rotting your brain.
Level 5. They also said this about video games. They also said this about candy. They also said this about a lot of things, honestly. Drugs. We would, you know, kill the brain cells in your brain, and you would never grow them back. Yeah, you would just become like physically, mentally, you know, a dud. So yeah, I don't know.
Riz, Livy done rizzing up baby Gronk, Ice Spice what the dog doing, Skibbity Toilet in real life, only in Ohio.
I think there's levels of this shit for sure. I see where people have like they meme about it and talk like this and stuff like that. But it's very rare. And I've never met anyone like that in real life. So yeah.
And it gets better. In a world more connected than ever, you have the biggest loneliness epidemic we've ever seen.
Gen Z has a loneliness problem.
Gen Z is the loneliest generation in America.
You look lonely. I can fix that.
You know what's weird? I was gonna mention earlier about like depression and stuff. I'm not ever like depressed, never been suicidal, nothing like that. Yeah. Just putting it out there on the web again. I've said it before, but I just want to say it again. You know, if something never happens to me, never been suicidal, never been depressed, nothing like that. Never thought about hurting myself. But you know what is interesting? I enjoy the emotion of sadness, right? I enjoy it. That's why I like listening to like Triple X or Juice World or just like sad music in general. It doesn't even have to be rap. Like I hadn't heard this song in forever, and I heard it today on Twitter, and I just was like, man, this is such a good song. It's like the song was like a new low or whatever. God, let me find it so I can play it for you, because it's such a good song, and it made my day that I heard it. And I am not functional right now. There we go. I found the history. And it is right here. Yoshi Flower Come June. Dude, this song goes so hard. The part where it's like, oh my god. Wait, where's the one part where it's like knight in shining armor? This part right here. Oh, that's not it. But you get the vibe. Like those vibes, it's like therapeutic to me. And I know there's a lot of people I've met that are like, I don't like sad music. And I love, like, back in the day, like, me and the boys would lay down and listen to, like, sad music, and we would be, like, in our feels, like, as a group. Great times, bro. I don't know. Yeah, weird strokes for odd folks. I guess.
The cause for this is undeniably stress about the future, overstimulation, and social media. But instead of addressing these issues, Gen Z will often refer to thugging it out and coping. People rarely go out like they used to, and the majority of interactions are online.
Shit's more expensive. We fucking had a pandemic, which changed a lot. Like, I was a lot more social before the pandemic, but then again, I was like a little bit less, a little less responsible. I was more like younger, so yeah, there's that. But I don't know, like, I feel like the only thing I could say is having electronics more in our lives, having TVs and being so widely populated, like having a TV in every room, it does create a scenario where you tend to be outside a little bit less, I would say. Even like, not nerdy people that are playing video games, but people who just like binge Netflix, stuff like that. So yeah, it definitely creates an atmosphere where people are more likely to be inside, I would assume. So I could see that creating some kind of barrier, creating a little bit of loneliness. Maybe our family, our parents and stuff, they went outside more and went and did more stuff because they only had so many shows on their television, and guess what? Their mom and dad were probably watching them.
And as a result, you have millions upon millions of people with no one to talk to or find real connection with. Gen Z is resorting to living on TikTok or in the metaverse, or even finding
no one fucking uses the metaverse. What are we doing now?
AI girlfriends.
That is crazy. And honestly, people that are like so against this, dude, the guys that are using this aren't gonna get girlfriends, right? They're not gonna get girlfriends, and if they do, congratulations. You probably should figure something out so she can stay around on her own consent and everything like that. Yeah, wife her up type shit. Because people are gonna have AI girlfriends, bro. They weren't gonna get girlfriends until they're like 40 or something, anyways. So yeah, I think they're beneficial. Keep the people that are gonna be obviously lonely anyways, less lonely. I think
Undoubtedly, that was a lot to take in. But
yeah,
what does all of that even mean? Well, it's not looking good. You have
I think it just means we live in unique times, exciting times, interesting times. What's around the corner? We don't know. Who knows?
Generation that can't focus, which leads to worse academic results, with many Americans unable to point out their own country on a map. And then
that's cap. There's no fucking way.
By extension, leads to greater unemployment rates, with millions already hating the system. And
COVID created that situation because people realized that, hey, if I just stay at home, it's actually not a bad, it's not bad.
Not wanting to work at all.
Yeah.
Then from that, you have people exclusively making their opinions from TikToks or comment sections online, from taking down the deep state and the Matrix to fueling propaganda and cancel culture, with all sides of the coin having no real clue what they are defending.
I think algorithms and social media have actually negatively affected people because whatever my thoughts are and interests are when I'm like, say, 16 or 15, you grow out of those interests, a lot of them, right? You just mature over time. So say you've been on the internet since then, well, a lot of those interests will actually linger more likely because of the algorithms like feeding you that shit constantly. And so it's like You're getting that dopamine rush. You're staying more plugged into those interests or whatever they are. And obviously, we live in an age where those interests probably didn't even weren't even a thing back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I could see where he's coming at.
People are putting their beliefs exclusively on what big tech companies force to them in algorithms for 10 hours a day. And when they're done with the outside world, they shut away, fuel their addictions, and let their life amount to nothing. But this isn't their fault.
That is interesting because everyone says that they don't live, their life amounts to nothing, which is going to be true for a lot of people. But I would say that you got to let history run its course before we say this kind of use this kind of verbiage, because he's not. This guy's not the only one that says this. This is everywhere. This is like a talking point that I hear everywhere when we talk about whatever it is, and yeah. I don't know. I think that there's going to be a lot of differences between generations, obviously with technology and stuff like that. But I think that there's a similarity and pattern in like humans have and like stick to, and it's not like new technology is introduced and then human patterns just completely 180 change completely. I think there's always been a pattern to like how humans behave regardless of technology.
The fix isn't as simple as just turning off the phone or deleting social media. There's a lot more to it. In fact, the entire generation was already failed from the start.
How?
Somebody explain to me why I make over 3 times the federal minimum wage and I cannot afford to live.
Where do you live, buddy? Where do you live? Because that's I hate seeing this shit. It is true. The prices are fucking ridiculous nowadays. They are. But state to state prices are not the same.
Now, the British pound has fallen to its lowest level ever.
From the CDC suggesting major problems with regard to the mental health of our adolescents.
For younger generations.
That is a huge one for sure. For sure. And I think a lot of that stimulates from, back in the day, there's a lot of asylums, which asylums weren't really that great of places, but there was a lot of fucking crazy people that were, not part of society, and now everyone's part of society nowadays. You have mental hospitals, obviously, psychiatrics and stuff like that, where they'll treat people and they're not allowed to leave until they're better or whatever. But yeah, the mental health shit is crazy. I really don't know where that stems from. I think social media has a big part to do with it. I don't know though. It just can't be that,
The cost of living has increased so much.
More than 1/3 of young people are spending much higher proportions of their income on rent.
Yeah, what happened to the 30% rule? That shit's not true at all.
I have just one question.
I remember when I was making 37K, 37K was my first job, my full-time job. And I thought it was like, I was like, okay, I can now live on my own. Boy, oh boy. Hell no. Now I feel like to live on your own, you need to make around probably, like, just to be financially stable in Texas, probably around 70K, I would say. Yeah, that's probably a good number, which is good living, right? That's a lot. Like, teachers, I think, start at 30. It's crazy.
Why change? Gen Z undeniably has countless issues, from their attention span, mental health, physical health, addictions, and even with false personas online, they hold a true lack of self-worth. This has been getting worse and worse by the year. But once again, why change?
But there's a lot of people that don't use social media like that. They use it like our parents would use their TVs to watch news and sports and stuff like that. That's how a lot of people use it. But you also have that social media experience with the numbers, the analytics, how many likes did you get, how many people commented, how many followers you have. You have that, but there's like layers. There's just like a pie chart, right? And there's only so many percentage that are obsessed with it, and because there's a lot of people that have social media, they don't post at all. They'll use Instagram like a messaging app, like add me on Instagram so we can message back and forth, like straight up. Like, come on now.
You see, Gen Z is aware of all of this.
And actually thinking about that, the people that don't post a lot, it's crazy. Those people have their shit together. Hold on.
Everything that's in front of them, but there's no desire or need to change this. Why would you care about your addictions or bad habits if you're constantly told the world's going to end tomorrow, that you'll never be able to start a family or even buy a house? This is part of the reason Gen Z doesn't want to...
I feel like the world's gonna end. There's like some wave of that, like every year, probably for the past, like, probably since 2020, honestly. I think that's been constant.
Work 70 years of their life and still not be able to afford to live. Things that have been the norm for generations have all ended with Gen Z. There is no debate. The system is broken. Education, housing, healthcare, retirement, all broken. Gen Z is at the forefront of a cultural revolution.
Yeah, all three of those things are fucked. Straight up, he has that right. He hit that on, he hit the nail on the
Witnessing the
hammer.
demise of every traditional norm, and they don't just struggle with housing and living, but also have a very different dynamic when it comes to these two things. From both parents being forced to work in order to live, which overall leads to less time the family has with each other, which by extension leads to breakup and divorce, making the single parent household all too common. And it gets worse. If the family is not raising the kids, well, the education system has them covered.
Oh, Jesus.
You would have hoped. Schools and colleges have struggled to adapt to a digital world. They've ignored creative and entrepreneurial advancements, and instead are stuck living in the past, leading to kids being unprepared for the real world. So with no one raising the generation, people are developing all their thoughts and morals on social media, from TikTok influencers or people like Andrew Tate.
Oh my god. I don't think that's true, bro. Because when I used it, okay, I am borderline millennial, borderline Gen X, but when I used social media back in high school, because it wasn't, like, it was around in middle school, but it was like MySpace and stuff, like Facebook, early Facebook. But, like, I never ever like followed some social media like spokesperson. Like, this guy's like the internet daddy for so many people that have daddy issues, like, straight up. This is a new phenomenon, so this is very, very, very green, and I don't know. I don't think we could, we gotta let time tell its tale,
Has to happen, which the Matrix has not prepared itself for.
Once again, creating further divide and leaving all the power with big tech companies. And now let's say you're a fluke in the system, and you stop rotting in your bed and get up and somehow land a job. Well, you still wouldn't be able to get a house. Rents are astronomically high, and mortgages used to take 3 to 4 years to save up for, but now instead it's 10 plus years to never. This leaves Gen Z.
But yeah, I think a big emphasis on that is the fact that people, in America, there's a society, there's a trend in society, I think, where people are like, okay, by age 18, you need to be doing something, right? You need to be working on a future career, going to college, becoming an adult, which is, which back in the day, there was no teenage years. It was like you were a kid and then you were adult, like way back in the day. So, you have that time period of teenagers, and after that, then it's like when you get to like 21, and even before 21, it's like you need to get like out of the house. Like it's like, if you're living in the house still with your parents, it's kind of weird. And I think that's the issue. There's like, I don't know how many parents teach their kids this, but they should. Like when they're 17, 18, 16 even. But it's like, hey, what's your plan? Like, do you want to have a house by what time? So you could live with your parents for free, save up money, and then go buy a house, right? That is the ideal situation. So they're set up for life. But that isn't what happens anymore. It's like, get the fuck out, pay rent. Oh, you want to save up for a house while you're paying rent? Well, guess what? You just got hurt on your job, or your car broke down, or whatever it might be. Like, it's impossible these days. There's a reason that people in Europe live with their parents for a long time, and people do it in New York as well because of the economy there with the housing crisis, because it's so advanced. But I don't know. I don't know. There's certain stigmas that are very corrosive to us, and I think it should change.
Literal grown adults, 24, 25-year-olds, living with their parents as it's not feasible to move out.
Yeah, but usually what the situation is they moved out and then they moved back in. when they're 24 or 25.
So what are you going to do with your life?
And when you understand all of this, there's no shock that Gen Z has a deep-rooted desire to hate the system they've been told to follow, with many romanticizing the idea of living off-grid in a van or a log cabin somewhere.
Oh man, I romanticize that shit all the time. I was literally talking to one of my best friends about that shit. I was like, bro, I wish, the good old days back when it was simple, when you could just have like land and have a farm, live off the land, and all you had to worry about were like coyotes and bears or Indians or whatever it might be, It's such a simpler time, man.
Well, this may be satire, but it highlights the severity of the situation Gen Z has been placed in. The hatred for the system is further fueled by economic instability as inflation erodes the value of money,
which is what problem we inherited. 100%. That is not our fault at all. Which is crazy because like you would expect our generation to be more focused on these issues, but we're not. And social media, like you said, is a part of that, and it's just scary because it's like if we don't fucking correct this situation, our kids are fucked. Like, what you think we're fucked? Oh man, when nations and when the world goes broke, war happens, and not just any kind of wars. The big bad ones. We don't want that.
Stays the same, driving rates of crime, fraud, and depression. So, I ask again, why change? Gen Z cannot afford to live, nor can they afford to retire 50 years down the line. The world is falling to bits with Western nations like the UK and USA collapsing, and with constant fear-mongering, multiple wars, and no hope for the future. Can you really blame Gen Z for being on that damn phone?
Hell no. That's just escape.
That's odd.
Gentlemen. What's the solution?
You see, I would love to give the verdict that it's all going to be okay, or you've just got to follow this simple fix. Either all workarounds have been patched April 2024, or I don't find this to be the case. I was born in 2005, a Gen Zer myself. I'm meant to wake up every day and work towards something.
That is crazy. My man is fucking 8 years younger than me. Dude, your video is fucking killing it, man. This is a good ass video.
Something that is strictly unobtainable in the current climate of the world. And as I said earlier, Gen Z isn't blind to the chaos unfolding around them. They're aware of the economy, the unaffordable housing, and the bleak prospects for the future. And yet, amidst the rubble of broken dreams and shattered norms, yes, there may be millions glued to technology and addiction.
Bro, this man got a 3-phone setup like it's a modern PC. Bro, that's wild.
In the realm of bliss ignorance, but there's also a flicker of defiance. A refusal to accept the status quo. People do want change, and in ways the world's never seen before, Gen Z can create that change. But this won't be easy. Gen Z isn't just battling political issues or the relentless scroll of social media, but also far more extreme factors.
Oh boy,
From
the robots!
Rise of artificial intelligence and automation.
Got Tetanus Optimus right there.
That
Tesla
can soon
Optimus.
take the jobs of millions.
I try to convince people to slow down AI.
Genie's out of the bottle.
To regulate AI.
Worsening unemployment, digitization, and the generation's mental health. But don't worry, it's not just Gen Z that has to fix this issue alongside all the other issues I've raised. It's everyone. Because if there's one thing that stood prominent over the last decade, is there are many odds that need to be defied. The future of Gen Z is no exception. This is the revolution of a generation, and it's only just begun.
Well, it's not looking
I've been
good
Tom
right
Haden.
now.
Thank you for watching. If you want to support me, be sure to subscribe and engage with this video.
Oh, he's only got 12, bro. This video went ham. Dude's got more likes on his video than he has subscribers. That's awesome, bro. He just gained a new one. Shout out to Tom Haden. If you like this, go give it a follow or go subscribe. Sorry. And I'm gonna go to bed because I am fucking sleepy. The grind never ends, but I do need to shut my eyes, baby. I'll see you in the next one. Trey Swish, Ether, we out.